All right. Welcome back, everybody, to a very, very special edition of the A to Z Sports Big Orange Podcast, live from the field at Neyland Stadium. Can you believe this, Zach? We started this podcast what 3 years ago? How?
Three. It's been three.
Yeah, from humble beginnings to now we're on the field at Neyland Stadium doing a special post orange and white game show. This is absolutely ridiculous. Thank you so much to everybody who's going to tune in. We really appreciate it. This special broadcast is brought to you by the amazing folks at Omaha Steaks. Thank you so much to them for sponsoring us, being able to be here. Also, I guess thank you to the University of Tennessee administration for letting us get press passes. I don't know why they did that, but they did. Yeah, this was really exciting. This is really cool. We got field access. We got to be right there. The injury to Ethan Davis happened right in front of me and Zach. We're going to talk about it all. Point being, this is just going to kind of be a wrap-up show for the orange and white game. And so, with that said, everybody who's watching, feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, do all the stuff that you got to do. And then go over to the comments and comment and tell us what you thought of the orange and white game, because it was really fun. I mean, this really was a pretty cool exhibition for Heupel after an amazing 11-2 season. I think a lot of people are, I guess, excited, but also nervous because you're moving on from Hendon Hooker, and it's going to be an interesting time kind of figuring it out from here. And we're going to talk about it now. Zach is busy sharing everything, so we have to do administrative duties and do the show all at once, all from the field right here. So forgive us if there's any technical snafus here. It seems like everybody can hear us But are we back? Here, what if we try? What if this is cool? Can people? This is cool right here. People hear us, but now we're shadows. Can you hear us? Hit the comments over there and tell us I have a test. Oh yeah, we are, dude. That much worked. So it was black for that amount of time, and now we're back. Okay. Sweet. All right. So I think my computer got overheated, but now we're back. Except now we're just a silhouette.
Yeah, well, at least we can. Yeah.
Can we try it? Here it is. Oh, and that's sweet.
Oh, there you go.
That's a sweet view. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we can get back to the Big Orange podcast reaction to the Orange and White spring game. Now that our stream is actually working, back at it here. Brought to you by Omaha Steaks. Got to shout them out again. Now, Zach, I will throw it to you. As I was saying, Gaston Moore is the quarterback for the University of Tennessee football team in 2023, right?
Yeah, we're just trying to figure out who backs him up, I guess, at this point, because he definitely looked the best out there today. But all kidding aside, that's kind of relative to the play calling that you saw today, which was not necessarily the play calling you'll see during the season. Joey Hosley did call all the plays from the box today, which Josh Heupel mentioned, not necessarily how it would go during the season. That probably played a little bit of impact in the way the game went today, but you didn't see a lot of that typical Tennessee offense. We didn't see a lot of the bunch formations. We saw a few more. They still went with tempo. We saw a few more traditional looks where they didn't have the splits quite as wide. A lot of running plays, trying to run between the tackles. They were never going to show a lot today, and it's not really about that anyway. I mean, this is, at the end of the day, this is a practice. It was the 15th practice of the spring for this team, so it's important that they get their work in. It's not just a show for the fans. Obviously, that's a great part of it, and it was a great crowd today. Josh Heupel said over 58,000 fans showed up today. Over 300 former players came out this weekend. It was a great event, but at the end of the day, for Josh Heupel and this team, it was just a practice, and not every practice is perfect. And today, had some good moments. We saw Nico make a throw that you understood why he was a five-star quarterback coming out of high school. He, down the sideline scramble drill. I think it was Ethan Davis that maybe was the recipient of that pass.
Yes, I think so.
Either way, Josh Heupel in the post-game presser we just left, you could tell that one throw definitely stuck out to him, and you can see why people are so excited about Nico. The flashes of greatness are certainly there.
Yeah, I mean, when he walked out, huge applause, which you have to wonder how that makes like Joe Milton feel. But of course, at this point with Joe Milton's history, he's going to handle that well, no matter how he feels about it.
Well, interestingly, Nico said he didn't even hear the applause.
Yeah,
and it was kind of a funny moment in the post-game presser that they asked him if he had noticed the applause, and he said he was so locked into the play that he didn't focus on the crowd at all. And the reason he was so locked in on the play was apparently earlier this month, he had messed up that exact play in practice, and he didn't want to let that happen again. So at least he had his focus in the right place.
Yeah, realistically, I mean, that's the stuff that you have to take away from this spring game is observations like that. Like, how did Nico handle these things? Observations are like, it's not going to play much this season unless there's some serious injuries in Tennessee's backfield, and you got to hope that doesn't happen. I mean, Jalen Wright and Jabari Small didn't even play in this game, so you had all these opportunities for these young guys to show out, and you got some great performances from those dudes. But what are we supposed to just go like, oh, that was really fun to see? He future guy like Deshaun Bishop go, that's awesome, but I hope we see this guy. He's because if he's playing in 2023, it means you got some pretty serious that you're dealing. There's I think probably the most important take away quarterback situation. I mean, it's here in the cup. Gaston Moore really added his name. Like, okay, bid both of these dudes go down that are your 1 and 2. Gaston Moore looked like he could be half competent. I mean, that's kind of I'm
through this spring about needing to find that number 3 quarterback, and we didn't think that it would be. Also, something else that we have to mention is that the top 4 wide receivers didn't even play today. Squirrel White, Ramel Keaton, Dante Thornton, Brew McCoy, none of them suited up and played. Josh Heupel did say 3 of them would have played if it was a regular season. So it's not major injuries that's happened. It's more you don't want one of these guys getting hurt in this game. But that also had a pretty big impact on the offense today.
Yeah, it definitely did. Now, so let me see. Switch up.
Or is there still audio?
Yeah,
after
I
that
just,
little.
I sort of reset the audio there. It doesn't seem like the computer is a problem. The computer is working fine, so it might be our microphone.
Looks like the Wi-Fi good here too.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi is working fine, so I'm not really sure why the audio would be scrambled. What might be happening there? Weigh in. Audio's up. But all things considered, to do this on the field, difficulties just there was so as the quarterback, great that you have the situation almost the season that we could from the spring game apply in 2023 today.
The biggest thing some of this and improve the pass just didn't the way they called it was slants, a lot of out into the they didn't take a lot of shots downfield, so we really didn't get to see the secondary at work. It did seem like the defensive line was able to get some pressure. They were stopping the run. They were, doing the things that we know they can do that we saw last season. So we knew this team was a good run defending team. It's in the passing game. It's in the secondary. Can they stop, make the plays there? Did not get to see a lot of that today. Again, it's the 15th spring practice, so it's not a surprise.
It's really not. But the defense as a whole, it's hard to know exactly where to go with your analysis because, like, the offensive line was a patchwork. I mean, you had walk-ons playing, you had guys that are probably not going to see any starting action this season playing, but you at the same time, guys that aren't going to see starting action are your depth players, and so that's something, and you need to have those guys get as much experience as possible, and so that's good in whatever sense. But yeah, even watching the defense play, they looked good against this offensive line, but again, the offensive line is kind of patchwork. So what should we take from the defensive line? I'm not sure there's that much, but you saw Aaron Carter play. We got to see him right in front of us, and we've heard through spring practice that he's an exciting guy that could get in for some time pretty much immediately. That's exciting. I mean, some of the other stuff. It was interesting. Wesley Walker in that press conference, he kind of said, like, he's much more settled in now. He's ready to be a bigger piece with this defense, and I love the sound of that because obviously the defensive backs were so just in up and down, and 15 different guys played the defensive back last season. If you could get real consistency there and real leaders and real guys that are going to do it, I would love that. And I think maybe now, just judging from, they had Wesley Walker speak, maybe he's going to be that guy or one of a set of guys with the defensive backs. But hopefully there's some to take there where you can say you're going to get more consistency from the defensive backs, maybe the defensive line. But you just don't know exactly what they'll look like because the offensive line they were playing against is kind of, I don't know what you would call it, a shadow of what it will really be in season.
Yeah, Josh Heupel was quick to point out that there's a lot of competition still happening. What you saw today is not necessarily how things will look in the fall. Positions haven't been decided, especially along that offensive line. So that's still a work in progress. One thing that I just thought about that I thought was noteworthy is we were watching pregame warmups. Dante Thornton looks like a legit dude. I mean, he looks big out there. He's fast, just the way he moves. Obviously, he didn't play. We didn't get to see him in action today, but in the pregame warmups when he's out there catching passes from Nico and Joe, really looks like they could have a nice connection this season.
All right, well, I'll ask everybody again, how is the audio? because I need a little bit of feedback here. Is it still rough? Because I reset all the connections. I tried. If you like, we're not really sure what to do. This would be a problem inside or outside, so I'm not really sure audio wise how it is. But tell us if it's still rough, because we want to work on it. Okay, so
Good.
Vic says it's good. That's good.
Oh, I guess before we miss this, the biggest thing I think to come out of today is that Ethan Davis was looking really good.
Oh,
maybe would have been the biggest story coming out of this game. And then right in front of us down here in the end zone, he goes up for a pass from Nico. Looks like he fell on his shoulder, maybe collarbone. I don't want to speculate and say that that's the injury for sure, but he was kind of grasping at that area. They stopped the game there for a few minutes. So hopefully he's okay. The good news is it's April. He's got 5 months, but you also want him to be healthy to be able to go through fall camp. Fortunately, Tennessee's not necessarily relying on him to produce this season, as a starter or anything like that, but he did show potential. Like he could be a dangerous playmaker for Tennessee. So moving forward, a guy that Tennessee fans should really be excited about. Hopefully his injury is not too bad. He did say it's not related, or Josh Heupel did say it's not related to the injury he had in high school that caused him to miss some time. So that's some good news.
That's definitely good news. But I'll give my take on that quickly after I tell everybody about the amazing sponsor of our live stream here, and that is Omaha Steaks. Thank you to them. They basically made this possible, made this show that we're going to do, or that we are doing, if it will go correctly technically. They made this possible. So Omaha Steaks is rewriting the book on burgers with an all-new handmade texture for the juiciest home-style burgers you've ever tasted. Their pure ground burgers are made from single cuts of real aged Omaha steaks. These are truly steaks on a bun: filet mignon, ribeye, New York strip, sirloin, and even brisket burgers. Now is the time to experience the exclusive Burger Perfection Flight. They got me doing some tongue twisters over here. Burger Perfection Flight for just $79.99. Go to omahasteaks.com and use promo code VOLS at checkout to get an extra $20 off plus free shipping. You'll get 4 of each pure ground burger, so you can sample all the steak on a bun greatness. These burgers are crafted for juicier, more tender experience, making your mouth water with every single bite. Don't wait. Go to omahasteaks.com, use promo code VOLS at checkout, and get $20 off the Burger Perfection Flight and discover your new burger obsession. And now we're contending with the groundskeeping crew. They're running right by us, so hopefully that doesn't weigh in either with the problems with this. Here's a lesson to be learned: don't do shows from the Neyland Stadium field, even though it looks.
Well, we're
amazing.
not alone. We got some other ones out here too.
That's true.
So, there are other people
like
out
WBIR's over here and some other news station. It's true. So but I think we've got it figured out. They said the audio was pretty good, but
so what do you think about this Ethan Davis deal?
So did I finish this? Yeah, it's with the Omaha Steaks. Don't wait. Go to omahasteaks.com. Promo code VOLS, VOLS at checkout. $20 off the Burger Perfection Flight and discover your new burger obsession. So do that, Omaha Steaks. Now, I had to make sure. Promo code VOLS, $20 off. Ethan Davis. It is really exciting. And is it not kind of a Tennessee thing that the dude who is really showing out, that you're like, oh, man, this guy looks like he could really be a dude right off the bat. He's a freshman. He came in really hyped. He was one of the highest rated players in this class. This is so awesome. He goes down with potentially a collarbone, separated shoulder, whatever it may be. That just felt all too fitting for some of the stuff that we've experienced as Tennessee fans. But you said it, plenty of time to get better before the season starts. Plus, you have McAllen Castles and Jacob Warren. And I think at that position, they'll be just fine. And I mean, I don't think that he was going to play significant minutes immediately anyway because of Jacob Warren and McAllen Castles. And so I think it's awesome. That really is great. And it's another takeaway that you can really have realistically, where it's not just like, oh, it's fun that he was great here, but we're probably not going to see him play in 2023. I think you could see him play in 2023 if he comes back from this injury and is as good as he was initially in this game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he looked like he knew what he was doing out there. He definitely didn't look like a true freshman. There's a lot of intricacies with playing the tight end position when it comes to pass blocking, run blocking, and different scenarios. So that would be a lot would depend on how much he can handle there as far as how much early playing time he'd receive. But yeah, definitely encouraging. And hopefully it's not too bad of an injury. It was very similar to Taven Jackson injury that in the UT Martin game, which he didn't come back the rest of the season. Not saying it's the same deal, but could be something similar. Again, luckily it's April and he has some time to recover.
Definitely. Otherwise, there just wasn't a ton. What else did you see that is worth mentioning? Because even like we pulled up the stats. This was kind of one of the funny things with this game, that it's classic spring game stuff. The stats, well, Nico played for the white team, and Nico played for the orange team, and Joe played for the orange team, and Joe played for the white team. And so they were split stats where Joe had stats for the white team, Joe had stats for the orange team. And so even the stats of this game, you have to like decipher and add up, and you're like, oh, it's 88 yards rushing plus and so there's even that like I said, it's classic spring game stuff. But
I still like this format better than any Butch Jones format.
Yeah, anything more than the like 300 to 200 point games or whatever they were that Butch used to do.
I would say my biggest takeaway from this game is obviously Josh Heupel was not going to show much out there. You got a new offensive coordinator. You've got a different personnel. We know that he molds what he does to his personnel. You've got Cam Seldon. You've got an Ethan Davis. You've got these guys that you can use in different ways. You got receivers that probably won't play a huge role in this offense this season that played. So I know the takeaway for a lot of fans will be that they didn't score a lot of points. There weren't explosive plays, but they really didn't take those shots. We only saw Joe Milton really let a couple fly, and one of them, there was a penalty, and they killed the play before he really even let it go. So I wouldn't worry one bit about the offense. I know that will probably be the freak out that kind of happens is the offense okay? Is Joe Milton the guy? Should it be Nico? All this. I just don't think there's much to glean from this just because it wasn't the Tennessee offense that we know they're going to run this season.
Yeah. Probably my biggest observation, if that's what we want to talk about right now, I mean, honestly, it's got to be the crowd for me.
Oh, yeah.
Like the game was great, but there's only so much that you can glean from it. But I've been saying it for years and years and years. I mean, it's 15 years at this point. Put that good product out there, and this fan base wants nothing but a winner. They'll do it for baseball. They'll do it for basketball. They'll do it for women's basketball. They'll do it for softball. It doesn't matter. This fan base just wants a winner. And Josh Heupel has finally given them that in football. And look at what it gets you. People made hay about the $5 entry fee. We talked about it on our show. Oh, it's $5. They can't believe they're doing that for the first time in however long. And this place was packed from wall to wall from the set. So they're doing construction back here, and you couldn't sit on this whole section of the stadium. It looked a little funky in some of the videos that we had because it looks like the stadium's empty. Every other part was totally packed.
Yeah, it was like a horseshoe setup kind of.
Yes. It was as if this end had just been chopped off, and everything was totally packed. And every single one of those people paid $5. The people that sat here paid, I don't know what. These are the premium seats with actual backs. And so not only did they come, they paid to be here, and people came from out of town. And I mean, I told you before we got here, every person I know came here because you want to see the team after they win 11-2. And that's so amazing. And I think that's got to be the biggest thing that I walk away from this noticing is just how powerful this fan base is when you give them a reason. Anything. I mean, it wouldn't have even had to be an 11-2 season for it to be this amazing, but an 11-2 season is just that much better. They sold out. I believe they hit the mark that they wanted to hit on season tickets 3 years early or something. I mean, finally, they gave this fan base what it deserves, and look what it gets you.
I mean, there was a point we were down here on the field in the end zone, and they go to the fourth quarter. And if you've been to Neyland for a home game, they play Friends in Low Places going into that last quarter. And when the fans sang along, 60,000, I mean, it felt like a fall Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean, it was electric for that moment. I mean, you don't get that in November at a lot of college football stadiums.
No.
Some in the SEC, like at Kentucky or Vanderbilt or some of those places, you will not get the atmosphere that you got here today. And that's wild. I mean, it's April 15th, and you have fans, 60,000 fans packed in here. And they were packed because, like you said, with everything being closed off on that end of the stadium, I mean, there are not many places you can go and get that kind of environment.
Yeah, Tennessee had 60,000 people here today, which I believe is double what Vanderbilt's entire stadium holds, or close to double.
I think they're 31,000.
And that's just what you have in this fan base. It's absolutely unreal. And they finally have an administration that understands that, because the administration before, they trot Derek Dooley out there and they'd win 6 games or whatever, and they'd go, all right, season tickets are going to be 20% more expensive next year. Well, no, you didn't do anything to justify that. They have done something to justify that, and this fan base will reward you handsomely. Clearly, it's just so incredible, and I can't wait till this actual season. I mean, it's just going to be an absolute madhouse in here. It's going to be amazing. And so it's John Hill, I noticed in the comments here, he says, got to win on my birthday. Woohoo. Does that mean today? I mean, technically it's a Tennessee win, right?
Yeah. I mean, they weren't losing today either way.
Yeah. So happy birthday to John. He's been in here and is super cool. I don't know. Does this mean, do we have to move? Are we going to get hit with the ground screw right here?
Yeah, we might be in danger of that.
Well, all we have to do, we just have to move. It's just risky because of everything that's happened so far. We have to move like 4 feet over.
Yeah. I will say one other thing that well, here, you move that.
Yeah. Just grab that. We just got to get out of the grass. Skirt. There we go. That might have killed the audio. I don't know.
Well, one other thing that I thought stood out today, and just being around the program a little bit over the last, since Josh Heupel took over, it's just the way the former players get to interact with the current team. I'm pretty sure I saw Byron Young, who's getting ready for the NFL draft, walking into the locker room with the team as they came off the field. I mean, you just didn't see that kind of stuff before, where Jawan Jennings is out here dancing on the sidelines in the middle of the game, Hendon Hooker's there with him and a lot of former players. And it just seems like, I know they talk about that family vibe and everybody talks about that, but it really does feel that way. I mean, you got family down on the field after the game. I think it was one of Nico's relatives chasing him in the tunnel to give him the lay as he's going into the locker room. I mean, just stuff like that it's genuine. Like what Tennessee's selling, what Josh Heupel's selling is 100% genuine.
It really was awesome. I mean, we witnessed that. I don't know. It was kind of a private moment. It happened in public, but it was kind of a private moment. I think it was Charlie Browder's mom who we watched, and some of the players came over and she was like, I'm Charlie's mom. Can we meet the quarterbacks? And the guys were like, oh yeah, absolutely. And she's like, oh, it's Nico. Bring Nico over here. And he
didn't even hesitate.
Didn't nothing.
Dante Thornton was there with them as well.
Yeah, they took pictures with the kids and did this whole thing. And I was just like, this is the most wholesome
it really is
I've ever seen.
It's almost in, like, I know that everybody preaches it. Every college football program is a family, right? I mean, that's what they sell on the recruiting trail, but it really feels real here.
Yeah, it really does. It's so genuine and so refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I mean, as two guys who had to cover up close the Butch Jones era at times.
Oh, the vibe is much different here.
Oh,
I mean, you can feel it in the air, really.
It's indescribable how different it is. I mean, it's tangible when you're here, just around these players. We always say, like, it's not just about like the players being happy and go lucky and stuff. You do want them to be serious, but they're just relaxed. They're just ready. Like Joe Milton, it was really interesting in that post game. Somebody asked him, like, what was the biggest thing during the spring practice that you emphasized? I think it was said something like that. And he was just like, having fun. Mm-hmm. That's what he said. And then the guy who asked the question
was like, Wes Rucker.
It was Wes. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember. And they were like, so did you accomplish that? And he was like, yeah. And then that, he said that he, in seasons past, he had been concentrating on, learning everything. Well, he has it down now. And now he's ready to just go out there and have fun. And Heupel facilitates that. And that's Heupel's culture of work there. So I love it, man. It really, it's this whole thing, obviously, being in a great enough position for us to actually be on the field and be able to see it up close has been super cool. But this is the first time both of us have seen this. You've covered a game in person. I haven't yet, with Heupel, and it was just very cool to see. I was extremely impressed, even though they went 11-2 last season. I thought I would be, but it was as good as advertised.
One other thing to point out is with Nico. I know that's everybody wants to talk about Nico. I think by now we know that guy has no ego. I mean, it's legit, it's real. But we saw another moment of that in the post-game press conference where they they asked him about his ability to throw the ball on the run, which we saw today. Like, he's mobile. He can get out and move his feet and get to where he needs to be. We didn't get to see it on full display because the quarterbacks weren't live, but you could see the flashes there. And he got asked about that. And his response wasn't anything about himself. It was, yeah, I think a lot of our quarterbacks on this roster are capable of doing that. Like, he is such a team guy, fits this culture so perfectly. And 5-star guy, number 1 recruit in the 2023 class. We know all about the NIL stuff, all the hype, and he's as down to earth as it gets.
Yeah, it really is so cool. He's such a perfect fit in this whole thing, and it's so evident. And that it's just really fun because, I mean, we said it in the press box, and I don't mean this in a mean way. He made that throw to Ethan Davis, I believe. That was just a beautiful, dropped it in right over his shoulder. And everybody in the press box, it was kind of a funny moment. Everybody went, oh,
yeah.
Oh, like there was
like, there's 5-star.
Yeah, an audible wave over the press box when he made that throw. And I mean, I leaned over to you and I was like, here's the deal. Like, Joe Milton doesn't have that throw in the arsenal. He just doesn't.
Yeah,
like,
you're right. I mean, that's not an insult to Joe Milton by any means.
Joe Milton's a good quarterback, and he doesn't have that throw in the arsenal. Like that's what I mean by that. It was a 5-star throw. I think you and Wes both tweeted that all at the same time, but it was a 5-star throw. And you just saw that flash, like, oh man, that's what you have to look forward to in the future. If everybody stays healthy, if everybody progresses correctly, I mean, that's what you have to look forward to with Nico. And man, that's fun. But I am glad. I will say this. I'm glad that there wasn't a moment today where we're like, oh, is Nico going to be the starter? Like, it wasn't like that. It wasn't over the top.
I almost wonder if the offense wasn't called the way it was today to prevent some of that. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
it probably was.
Heupel's very not necessarily secretive, but he doesn't like giving stuff away. He likes to catch people off guard. We saw so many times in instances where it really wasn't important. He used that option look at times last year, right? And didn't really break it out in a lot of big games, but he made teams prepare for it. So I think he's real conscious of what he puts out there on film and what people see. And so that's the reason for some of that today. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Nico Milton thing was part of it.
Absolutely. Well, I think for the most part, that is pretty much it. We've already gone 30 minutes. So anything else to wrap this up, Zach?
Yeah, I think we about covered about every end of it there, at least of what we saw today.
I'm glad we worked through the technical difficulties. We found this spot here that honestly, this is the coolest looking.
It's where we should have been to begin with.
It's the coolest looking our show will ever get. So
for some reason, we decided to go right into the sun, but
yeah,
I was on board with that decision.
I'm happy we got to do this. Thank you to Omaha Steaks. Promo code Vols. Go there, omahasteaks.com. Promo code Vols for $20 off. Go there, get the deal. Do the whole thing and rate, review, subscribe. You're here. You know what to do. Thank you for watching to everybody. And we'll talk to y'all, Monday?
4 p.m.
Yeah. We'll see you guys then.
See you guys later.